What is going on, Stallions? Welcome to the Gamer Heaven, where we focus on the past, present, and future of gaming. I recently reviewed Sony's Pulse 3D headset, which is specifically designed to use the Tempest audio engine on board the new PlayStation 5, and honestly, it was a pretty amazing headset for $100. I also reviewed Microsoft's brand new headset, which is specifically designed to work with the Xbox Series S and X and integrates right there with the Xbox dashboard. And today, these bad boys are going to enter the gauntlet and duke it out in a bloodbath to the death to see if Team Blue or Team Green takes the cake and slices that bee. Let's get it. My recording got trust issues like Drake. Yep. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper desktop, if you are new to the channel, welcome aboard. This is where we do our unboxings, custom controller and PC builds, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So first off, we're going to start with packaging and included accessories. Now, neither of these have very premium packaging, as they are $100 headsets. You're not going to get any laser cut foam in there or anything like that. You do get a very, very short USB-C cable with the Microsoft product. It's only about a foot long. Granted, a foot long will do you quite well in certain aspects of life. However, USB-C cables, not so much, ladies.
I got the thinnest penis in the world. Here, it's like a Twizzler, look. No.
You also have all of your standard Xbox documentation. I don't know how to read, so it's not a huge deal for me, but it's a little brochure for you guys to skim through at your leisure. As for Sony, you get equally crappy packaging here, just some cardboard in there, but you do have the headset wrapped in a little plastic bag to keep dust and debris off there, so that's cool, I guess. But what really is nice is you do get a very nice long USB-C cable. It's not braided or microfiber or anything like that, but it is longer, which is pretty cool. And unfortunately, the Xbox headset cannot be used on PC unless you get a $25 dongle or adapter, which is not included. The PlayStation does have a dongle that comes with it that plugs into the front of a PC tower. Your PlayStation 5 or your PlayStation 4 syncs right up and takes advantage of the Tempest audio engine on the PS5. So build quality, both these feel a little cheap, I'm not gonna lie. The plastics feel really cheap and whatnot. The ear cups are also nothing special. They both get the job done, but none of them have any cooling gel or perforated material or anything like that to dissipate heat on your ears. However, they are really squishy and soft, which is very nice. They are a little bit more plush on the Xbox side of the house. However, the Pulse 3D, even though they're a lot firmer, actually feel a little bit better, at least to my ears. As for the headband design, I really like this auto-adjusting strap on the Pulse 3D. Now, you do get some decent feeling extending arms here on the Xbox side of the house. Also get these rotating dials for your volume, as well as your game and chat blend, which is pretty nice. But all in all, it's a draw. Neither of them really feel super comfortable or anything like that. As for comforts, that's extremely important when it comes to a headset, as it is going to be on your head for an extended period of time. They're both quite comfortable. However, they both sport 40mm drivers versus 50, 80, or 100mm drivers like you'd find in some more premium headphones, like some of the flagships from Turtle Beach, Astro, etc. And you definitely tell that they are smaller drivers. If you have larger ears, these aren't even going to be over the ear, they're going to be on the ear, because your actual ear, not lobe, but the whatever this part's called here, I'm going to call it the flippity flap. It doesn't fully get covered, and the hole's just not big enough for you to shove your ear flesh into, which is unfortunate. But they do feel quite comfortable. I will say the Xbox headset does get rather warm rather quickly, probably about 10 minutes of play, and then sustains that heat for the entirety of your playtime, which is kind of unfortunate. The Pulse 3D, I actually wore these for probably like 4 or 5 hours straight playing Apex and then Call of Duty Cold War on my PC. And I also played probably like 4 or 5 hours consecutive of Miles Morales on the PS5. And these actually felt pretty good. So they dissipated heat pretty well, which I wouldn't really expect from looking at the ear cups and whatnot. The ear cups do pop off. They have little clips on there. Now, I don't think that you can just buy any third-party aftermarket replacement ear cap, because the clip design on there looks kind of proprietary to this headset or whatever. And on the Xbox, you could replace these a lot easier because it's just that slip over design. So if you go onto like Amazon and get a 40mm driver generic ear cup set, it will just instantly work. However, getting these back on in comparison to something like a snap-on design, like, it's not a huge issue. I'm about to pop it on right now, but it's like you have to get this little gasket over the plastic parts, And it can be a little bit finicky, especially the first time you do it.
Not bad.
So comfort's acceptable on both of these headsets. However, I will say the Pulse 3D is noticeably more comfortable, at least for my head. I think that's a combination of the ear cups being a little bit better, even though to the fingertip, the Xbox headset feels softer and more plush, but I don't know. These being firmer actually worked out for them. And then also the head strap is substantially more comfortable, as over here, it's very squishy in the middle, but right here and right here, that is where the padding stops and it becomes hard plastic covered with a plastic / leatherette material. So that's it's good stuff. All right, so audio quality. This is probably the second most important thing after comfort, I would say here, and that is pretty good on both headsets, especially for the $100 price point. However, they go about this differently. The Xbox over here has controllability on board the Xbox in the accessory settings, just like you would with a controller, and you are able to adjust things like equalizer, microphone settings, noise gate, auto mute, which is a feature these have that basically, it's a noise gate, basically it'll cut out when you're not talking, or fans in the background, or if you have like a roommate that's doing some moaning, happy moans or sad moans in his room or whatever, it'll cut that shit right out. But these sound pretty darn good, but I will say the bass is a fickle B. It's either underpowered or overpowered, and I have yet in my 3 days of consecutive hard usage to fine-tune it. Now, I am going to make a separate video going over the best settings for this headset when I do find them. We're talking about inside the Xbox settings, playing around with some of the surround settings, and then also in that application going through the equalizer settings to create a custom equalizer curve where the mids aren't muddy, treble's nice and screamy and poppy, and the bass will also slap you in the tuchus as well. And these sound good, but the bass, I mean, I kind of veered on the side of having more bass than not enough. And they sound good. I wish they got a little bit louder, and they never get distorted or anything like that, but it does feel like the bass overpowers the rest of the frequency range, where, you know, dialogue seems like it's getting drowned out by everything. Every single frequency gets boosted up with bass, or it's just like blah, 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 blah. It's just like sloppy bass, like a big bowl of bass soup with a big spoon drizzling chili in your ears. It's just, it's a little much. I know I'm really making it sound like these are terrible, and they're not, but the bass needs a tweak in. It needs a fine tuning of the settings for sure. Now over here at the Pulse 3D, there is zero controllability with an equalizer or anything like that. PlayStation doesn't have any settings. There's no third-party apps that control equalizer or anything like that. And at first I was thinking, holy crap, that is terrible. These are going to be completely unbalanced. They're either going to have, you know, flat mids or tinny highs, or not enough bass, too much bass. Not really the case. So if you play a PlayStation 4 game or a PC game, these are just going to sound like a typical good pair of $100 headphones. However, when you play a native PlayStation 5 exclusive, so something like Miles Morales, Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, something like that was specifically designed with the Tempest engines in mind, fucking amazing. Like, literally, I listened to these, and, like, literally, these put a solid 2 inches on my peen and boosted my credit score 20 points. So these are pretty damn sweet, not gonna lie, which is surprising because you can't tune the equalizer at all. But also, like, when I was playing on Apex, like I said, I had great stereo spread. I could easily pinpoint enemy footsteps and whatnot. Sounded good. I was able to listen to my Discord and my my game blend through there just fine. Speaking of which, the volume controls do work on this as well for PC, so you just put it at 100% on your PC, and then you are able to adjust it from the headset, which is pretty doggone nice. Now, these both sport USB-C for charging, which is pretty sweet. All right, so on battery life, Microsoft gives Sony the Dutch rudder pretty hard because these will last 15 hours, these last 12. However, this does have fast charging where 30 minutes of charging will get you 4 hours of listening time, which is pretty impressive, and you reach a full charge in about 3 hours, just slightly under, about 2.5 hours actually, from my testing, so that's pretty dope. Now over here on the Pulse 3D bad boys, these will run 12 hours, and I didn't experience any fast charging or anything like that. It took probably, I don't know, I kind of just left them on the charger to be 110% honest, but when I came back after about 4 or 5 hours, they were back at 100%. It's not fast charging like the Xbox, so that is rather unfortunate. Now, so these have no option to run a 3.5mm headphone jack, so if you want to plug them into the bottom of a controller of a console that these weren't really meant to run with, you can't do that. You can't plug it into your microphone on your PC to try and use them that way, which is kind of unfortunate. And if you don't buy that dongle, you ain't going to be playing them on PC. These do have Bluetooth enabled, and yeah, you're probably thinking, well, I could just use them all on PC via Bluetooth. Yeah, if you're watching a movie or something, don't want to game with that though, because the lag or latency, Bluetooth is a terrible means of data transfer in comparison to something like a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz connection, like what you get with a dongle. So yeah, you do not want to use Bluetooth for a controller, a headset, anything like that. It's just slow. It's damn slow. Now, the Pulse 3D bad boys over here, like I said, the dongle does work on PS4, PS5, and PC, which is pretty dope. And that dongle is included, of course. And this does have a 3.5mm headphone jack. I will say, if you do own this headset, do not plug them into the bottom of your controller. There is a pro and 3 cons to doing this. I did mention this during my review, but it's important, so I'll mention it now as well, after this douchebag with the truck drives by. So the pro is that if you plug it into the controller, you're not utilizing the battery on here whatsoever. So if these go completely dead, you can plug them into the bottom of your DualSense 5 controller on the PS5 and run them that way. However, the cons. First of all, you're not going to be wireless because you're wired now. You have a wire there. 2, you're actually killing the battery life of an already not great battery life controller with the DualSense 5 because it's powering these as well. And the major one is if you're playing one of those make sure my titty's covered here. And the major one is if you are playing a PS5 title that has the Tempest 3D engine, you will not get that awesome virtual surround sound through being wired to the controller. It just runs it like a normal 2.1 stereo headset, which isn't bad if you're just playing some multiplayer or something, but if you're playing like a campaign or something where you want to hear all the ambient sounds and whatnot, as it is really good, the Pulse 3D handles Tempest very well, then you need to use that dongle because that wirelessly encodes all those surround sounds, those virtual surrounds, and plugs them into the headphone. So next up, I do have to give props and a point to Microsoft for actually having an application with controllability. I think even though these sound phenomenal, PlayStation should still have a software suite in the settings where they can, maybe they'll add it with a firmware patch later for the PlayStation 5. As of now, there's no customization of these, which isn't bad because, like I said, they sound great, but people would still like to tweak for their own liking. Everyone hears sounds differently. You know, maybe somebody has hearing loss from God knows what. Maybe they were in the military or something and they got a little bit of hearing loss, so they hear certain frequencies more than others. And people should be able to adjust that. Same thing with the microphone settings, which brings us to our next section. The microphones. How do they sound? Pretty mediocre, pretty tinny. But neither of them sound very good at all. I'll insert the mic test right here. It's about 5 to 8 seconds. You'll see the LED flash on the front, then go solid, getting a notification in Windows that you are now paired with How Now Brown Cow. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Peter Piper pickled a pepper. I gave your girl a Turkish snow cone. She likes her airplanes with Dutch rudders. Neither of them are great. There's definitely headsets with much better audio quality out there. Not in the $100 price point, though. Actually, I take that back. The Razer Kairas and Kaira Pros. Kaira Pros are $150. The Kairas are $100, though, which stacks them directly against here. And the Kairas have a much better microphone. You actually get rich bass from your voice. It's not so tinny. You don't sound like a 13-year-old girl or anything, so that's pretty sweet. And I would feel confident actually streaming directly from the console with that headset, audio-wise. These ones, I'd probably plug in a USB condenser mic to the front of my console and stream with that as my mic input, to be honest, because these don't sound great. Honestly, I think the built-in microphone in the DualSense 5 controller actually sounds about the same as these, which is not great. So it's a draw for being not good. And that leads us to the final factor here, the deciding factor, if you will, and that is going to be value. Which one should you pick up? Which one's the best bang for your buck? Well, so warranty-wise, neither of these are very good at all. So you get a year with the Pulse 3D from Sony. That's on all Sony accessories, including controllers. You have 1 year to replace them if it bites the dust on you. Over here on Xbox, 90 days, 3 months. That's according to the Microsoft website. And I also went to the Sony website all the way down to the bottom under warranty and support. Read through that article. It was very boring, but it's research that needs to be done. Somebody's got to do it. So, not good. When you look at headsets like Razer has 2 years, Corsair, Logitech, and HyperX, they all offer 3. Astro, I think, is 3 as well. So, not good. So, hopefully these have the long-term durability and longevity. As long as you guys don't use them like a Frisbee or like, you know, give it to your dog as a snack or anything, they should last for you. I mean, it's a headset. I've had the same, like, daily driver headset. The Razer Nari Ultimates for my PC, PS4, and yes, these do work on the PS5. I've had these for like 3 years almost, and actually I bought these refurbished from Amazon, this pair, and I've had it for 3 years. They're pretty damn good. That's why I still have them on my desk. These things kick ass. Also, that's not a $100 headset though, so we're just talking about these bad boys right here. So which one would I buy? Depends on the platforms you have. If you have a PlayStation 5 and you are currently playing actively playing some PlayStation 5 exclusives, like Miles Morales, Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, that Godfall or whatever it is, something that uses the Tempest engines, these sound better than most $100 headsets. If you don't, you're just playing PS4 games or PC games, it sounds like a good pair of stereo $100 headphones, which isn't bad. And I do like the fact that this is multi-platform. It just works. PS4, PS5, PC. This is only Xbox, unless you get the... Well, you can use it on Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and then PC if you get the dongle to shove in the hole. And you can use Bluetooth for your phone as well, for mobile phone. These do not have Bluetooth, so that's cool that these do. Again, don't use Bluetooth for gaming. Just don't do it to yourself. So we got to factor that into overall value, that if you do get the dongle, which is retails for $25, but I have seen it marked up to $30 sometimes when it goes out of sale or in low stock. They kind of boost up the price a little bit, assholes. That will be linked in the description below, as well as these headsets and anything else that I mentioned in this video. So I would say as of now, due to the comfort factor and the overall sound profiles for my liking, for my personal preference, and also not taking into account aesthetics, because I know that's completely subjective. Some people might like the design of this. I personally don't like the lime green at all. I wish that would have been all blacked out, or they would have had a little chrome line around it or something. That might have looked a little more handsome. They could have even left this little lime green button here. That would have been their fix, their daily dose of D. Oh, I just turned them on. That would have done them in for their daily dose of lime green. You know, Razer and Xbox, they are serious about their lime green. Now, this looks like it belongs next to the PS5 on a stand or something. It's all swoopy and modern, crisp, clean, sterile. Looks good. I like it. But anyway, not taking that into consideration, due to the fact that this does work on PC without having to get a dongle, so you don't have to spend an extra $25. The mics both suck on here, so you're probably just going to be using like an external microphone. I would say if you do own a PS5, these are a definite pickup, as these are designed first party, in-house by Sony to use the drivers. Now these really aren't so much. These are the same as any other third-party headset you're going to get. Razer, Corsair, Turtle Beach, which I have reviewed, the Turtle Beach 700 Gen 2s, which retail for $150, and those blow these out of the water. I think these had a lot of hype around them because of the features like the quick charging, which is really cool, and then also the auto mute, which is kind of gimmicky. I mean, I just turned it off. It's just a noise gate. It doesn't really do anything. It does have integration into the settings, the regular Windows settings. You don't need to install an extra application on your dashboard or anything. You just go right in the settings, right next to your controller, and you do get an indication of your headset battery. That's another thing on both of these. It will show you in the top right of your console your battery life. This one's just battery life. This one is battery life, your game chat blend slider, your volume slider, and when your mic is muted. These just show you the battery. If you have a PS5, and definitely a PS5 and PC combo, these are a definite pickup. Like, because of the Tempest integration, gotta get these bad boys. They sound good. They're a good value for $100. They stand neck to neck with any of the other $100 headsets out there. Personally, I think the Razer Kairas are a better option, even though they still have the same dongle issue. You need to use the exact same Windows 10 dongle to get those working, but I just feel like they sounded a little bit better in the same price, and they're more comfortable. Battery life's better too, and the warranty. These are a pass for me. I'm going to have to pass on it. Pass on the grass, on this green grass here. I'm going to pass on it. Now, if you get it as a gift or something like that, you don't have to bother returning it. It's a good $100 headset. But if you're buying this with your own hard-earned shekels, your own ducats from your day job, there are better headsets for $100. For example, the Razer Kaira. So, definitely a pickup if you have a PlayStation 5 and a PC. Works on both. Works amazing with the PS5. These are okay. They're alright. If you enjoyed this video, it was informative for you guys and it helped you to make a decision on purchasing or passing on either of these headsets, a like on the video helps it to get seen by more people, which in turn helps me grow my little baby Schmeckle channel, which I greatly appreciate it. It is a grower, not a shower, and I want this thing to be a big, thick, veiny, girthy rager by the end of this year. Subscribe for more content like this. I do a lot of peripheral reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, this, that, dongles, doohickeys, and doodads, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.